Excuse me. Okay. Now, uh, the last and final topic we have uh, is experiments. So far, we have already only seen, the ways we could do a survey, we could define a population, we could define a sample, how can we be biased towards it, how can we make a mess when we start doing a survey and different things, right? We have seen some definitions, tons of examples of these, and then we have tried to play with the definitions so that uh, whatever the data is, we can actually match that with our known definitions, and then we can cross check our work, right? So today we'll see something different, but obviously it will be related the way we have gone so far. If you remember, uh, in the previous couple of lectures, we have seen, or rather, we have done surveys, or we have uh, taken information from different people by going to different places or doing it online or over phone, right? So we say that this, these are observations. We do these by observations. So this study is called an observational study where we do these polls and surveys. I mean, whatever we have done so far, all of these fall into the observational study case. But there is another case which we want to know now, and that one is experiments. In these experiments, now we adopt a different technique. This time, we um, collect data not only by observations, we actually do some experiments. That means we fix a treatment. What is a treatment? We'll soon know. We fix a treatment and then we measure uh, using that, or we collect data from that. Okay, so first of all, I want to know what's the first thing comes into your mind when you first hear this word experiment, or when you see this word experiment. What's the first thing comes into mind, or forget about this course. How do you define experiments? Have you ever heard of this word, or have you ever used this word previously? I'm pretty sure every one of you have already. So, what do you mean by this word experiment? Forget about this. Yeah, sorry.
It's a way to test a hypothesis.
Very good. Okay. Anyone else? Again, it doesn't need to be from this course. I mean, just forget about this course. Where have you used this before, or where have you seen this before? No one else? Just by the word, what do you understand? the word experiments. Okay, no problem.
But
Yeah.
we're
Did you try to say anything, Painter? I can't hear you. I can see that you're trying to say. Anyway, let's carry on. So, oh, my mic isn't working. Oh, okay, okay. It's fine. Can you hear me all right? Okay, okay. That should be fine. All right, so let's see one or two examples, and then I hope it will make more sense. What do you mean by this word experiment, especially in this course or especially in statistics? Okay, it might have different definitions, but in this particular course, we have a precise uh, criteria. Okay, when can we define it as experiments and when not? Okay, so let's see one example and then probably we'll come back to the definition again. All right, so let's see example 20, and we have a couple of sub examples inside it. So the first one is a pharmaceutical company tests a new medicine for treating Alzheimer's disease by administering the drug to 50 elderly patients with recent diagnosis. Okay, the treatment here is the new drug. Okay, so what does that mean? So you have a new medicine, you have a pharmaceutical company, and you have uh, a new medicine for a particular disease, and you want to know how well does it work? Are people getting cured? And you can't really have an observational study, can you? Because you have this new medicine, so you can't really take opinions from people uh, walking down the aisle on the Grand Avenue or going to the Walmart, because this is the new medicine. So there is no way you can take previous observations as or rather uh, predict the future or make a prediction on how well will it work. It's a new medicine, so first of all you need to see whether or not it works or how well does it work, how many people benefited get benefited by this medicine, right? So that's how you do an experiment. So you pick up some people. It could be from different. Obviously, if you want to get better results, you want to have randomness here as well. You pick up uh, people whom you want to uh, um, give this medicine, the new one, and then after a while, you'll go to these particular people and check whether it helped them or not, right? We say that this is an experiment. And here, the treatment is the drug. So let's see the definition again. An experiment is a study in which the effects of a treatment are measured. That means we need to have something, we need to define something uh, from which we'll collect data from. Simply uh, the study will base on that measurement. So here we are definitely trying to see how well the drug is working. So we say that here the treatment is the new drug. Okay, that's why this word treatment and experiment, as you can see, is written in the bold format, because you want to know what's going on here. Okay, how are we defining it? Okay, we'll uh, see more examples, and hopefully it will make more sense. Let's see the next one, and then we'll come back to the definition again if it's required. Okay, a gym tests out a new weight loss program by enlisting 30 volunteers to try out the program. The treatment here is the new program. Okay, again, let's say you have um, opened a new gym, or you have owned a new gymnasium or fitness center, and in that to uh, invite people, um, or to make people join your fitness center, what do you need to do? You need to advertise, right? You need to do something so that people will start coming to your fitness center. So you say that, hey, we have a weight loss program, and obviously, uh, to make an advertisement, you need to have certain data that our weight loss program has already helped this number of people, or has a success rate of this. Now, how do you find that? You are trying to uh, use this new weight loss program, so you can't really take data from others, who have uh, lost weight, using different program, or it could be a different diet chart, it could be exercise and all that. It won't work, right? If you want to advertise your weight loss program, first of all, you need to see that whether it actually helps or not, right? How many people actually uh, uh, gets benefited by this new program? So again, you pick up some people, you say that, hey, I'm providing you this for free, for example, and we'll see the first 15 days or 20 days and see how how uh, how much weight you lose, and then we can actually calculate the success rate, or we can advertise that, hey, out of these 30 volunteers, 29, let's say, 29 of those volunteers have actually lost their weight, so come and join us to uh, uh, lose your weight uh, within 20 days. Make an advertisement of that. So you need to have data from someone who has already, or who is using it, or who has used it, right? So that's why we say that it's an experiment, and obviously the measurement will be uh, the treatment will be the new program. I mean, the entire study will be measured based on the new program, which we have uh, done by enlisting the 30 volunteers. So now let's take a break and see if it makes sense or not. Is there anyone who is kind of um, struggling to understand this definition of experiments? If it looks awkward, no worries. Uh, when you'll have more examples, I hope it will make more sense. If you're observing this definition from a new angle, or from this different angle for the first time, I believe, then it might look awkward, but hopefully it will make more sense after we finish a couple of more examples. Okay, I can't see any questions, so looks like it's fine. Okay, let's move on, and then we'll come back to it if you have any more confusions. Okay. All right. So let's quickly see the next two examples. It says you test a new kitchen cleaner by buying a bottle and cleaning your kitchen. Okay. So again, let's do it this way. So when you are trying to use a new product, do you buy it in a bulk? Do you all of a sudden you go to a shop and buy 5 or 6 products at the beginning when you are trying a new product? I guess most of you first buy one and then use it, and then if you like the product, then you know probably buy more. If you don't like it, you just um, buy buy another product and um, complete this process again. And you keep doing it until you find one that actually gives you pleasure, right? Which you find really, really good, whatever the product is. Like, for example, a couple of days back, I went to the Walmart and bought one Coca-Cola coffee flavor. Um, it definitely looks amazing, but I was not sure how good it will taste. And so what I did, I actually bought one of those. I returned to my apartment, um, had a sip, and I didn't really like it. So obviously, I'm not going to buy it anymore. So you can say that it's an experiment I have done on the product, right? Can you see that? The treatment is the product itself. It's an experiment because I'm using it to collect real life, or rather live data. I mean, you can define it this way because I'm not sure, I haven't really tasted it before. I'm not sure how well it will taste, or rather how good it will taste. Uh, if it tastes really good, I'll buy probably a 10 or 12 cans more. If it doesn't taste good, I'll try something else. Probably Pepsi mango flavor or something else. The new flavors which is in on offer now, right? So that's an experiment again. Or I might say, uh, I can give you a new type of homework assignment where you need to submit your work um, in my emails. It could be PDF or it could be image. I mean, instead of the My Open Math platform, since some of you are struggling to do your homework in My Open Math when we started, so we could have experimented in this way that I have given you a question and you can write it on a white paper and make a PDF or take a picture of it and send it to my email. And if most of you agreed, we could have followed that. Or if some of you said no, the automated system in My Open Math is better, at least majority of you had said that, then we could have carried on with My Open Math. So that's an experiment as well. Can you see that? How are we trying to define it? I'm just trying to give you some real life examples, which we generally do, probably not knowing that uh, in statistics we say that it's an experiment. Any questions so far? All good?
I have a quick question.
Mhm.
So if you would do homeworks via email, will the grade that is posted in the My Open Math be different?
Oh, okay. It's an example. We're not going to do it, in emails. Obviously, we are almost to the end. I'm just giving you an example. That
Oh, I see.
we could have done this experiment. That's it. Because we have already posted the last homework, so I don't think we'll do anything else. There is no real time, to be honest, to experiment anything new. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's do this exam, or rather, try it now 6. Okay, I'll have a story for you. I'll actually have 3 different stories for you, and by just observing or eyeballing the story, you need to understand what kind of study we are having. Is it an observational one or is it an experiment? And you need to put your uh, reasons behind it. I mean, why do you think it's observational or vice versa? Okay. Um, okay. So what I'll do, um, I'll describe the story to you. Excuse me. And then I'll ask randomly from the participants list, and whatever your thoughts on this, you can share with us. Even if it's wrong, it's completely fine. Okay. All right. So the first one is the weights of 30 randomly selected people are measured. Okay. So we select 30 people uh, from somewhere. Let's say from our section, from our Math 1000 course, and we uh, measure their weights. Okay, so what kind of uh, uh, scenario we actually have here? I mean, is it an observational study or uh, it's an experiment? So I'll randomly pick. Uh, let's see. I'll randomly pick someone from the participants list. And again, no worries. Just give your thought. You know the definitions. Just um, share your thoughts on this, even if it's wrong. Okay, absolutely no worries. So, okay, Mary Dyson. I hope I pronounced your name right.
Yes,
Okay, so what do you think? What it should be, and what's the
for
reason
A.
behind
Am I answering A, the weight of 30 random?
it? Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to say it's an observational study
Okay, and why do you think that? I mean, what made you
because
think that? Mhm.
sorry, what?
I mean, what made you think that?
Just because um it seems like, well, there's not a whole lot of information, and it seems that it's just taking information from 30 random people.
We generally have randomness when we have experiments as well. I mean, we randomly pick some people um,
Mhm.
and measure different data, measure different things. Okay, yeah. Let's see if someone else. Thank you for that. Let's see if someone else has a different opinion. Is there anyone who thinks that it should be experiment, or if someone thinks that it's an observational study but has a different reason behind it.
Yeah, it's an observational study because nothing's being like actively tested. It's
Yeah, I
just
thought the
data's
same
being
thing.
collected, but there's no question being asked.
Okay, yeah, Aston, I think you're trying to say something.
Yeah, sorry, my headphones aren't the best. I thought the exact same thing. Sorry.
All right, so yeah, it is indeed observational study. And why? Since you can see, we're not really experimenting anything, right? We actually collect data from people without implementing any treatment on them, right? By treatment, obviously, again, we are trying to define a method from where we are going to measure the entire study, or from which we are going to measure the study, right? We're not really implementing anything. We're just asking them questions. I mean, in particular, we're asking them one question, that what is their weight? So it is indeed observational study. All right, so next one is, okay, subjects are asked to do 20 jumping jacks, and then their heart rates are measured. Okay, so now you again randomly select people. No worries with that. We generally have randomness to get a better result. So we pick people. We say you need to do 20 jumping jacks. And after that you need to come to us and we'll measure your heart rates. Okay, now what kind of study do you think we have? Is it an observational one or is it an experiment? Let me ask from the participants list again, and this time I'll pick Emma. Can you hear me? Emma Hickman it is, I hope, if I'm not pronouncing it wrong. Can you hear me? Okay, I guess, yeah, probably she can't hear me. Okay, so who else? Jordan? Jordan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So for B, what is your answer? I mean, what do you think it should be? Is it an experiment or is it an observational study?
I said it was an experiment because you're actually asking your subjects to do something and then measuring their results afterwards.
Okay. Anyone else? I mean, do you agree with her, or do you have a different reason behind it, or don't you may be completely, you may not agree with her at all?
I agree. They're finding a correlation between two things, so I think that that's what makes it different from the observational study.
All right. So again, yeah. So now you are not really asking them questions and taking their data, right? Instead, what you are doing, you are implementing something and then you are collecting data. That means you are imposing a treatment on them, and then you are measuring whatever the uh, treatment is. Okay, you are collecting data from that. Okay, so the quick question is, what could be the treatment here? Anyone um, has a say about it? What could be the treatment? I mean, again, what is the treatment? Treatment is something what you are trying to implement on somebody or something, and then you collect data from that. You measure the entire study based on that.
So I guess the treatment in this would be exercise or jumping jack specifically, I guess.
Okay, anyone else has a different answer other than this? What could be our treatment here? Do you agree with what she said right now? I know the treatment and defining the treatment could be tricky, but definitely when you have uh, you know, done these examples or rather exercise problems, it will definitely become easier. Okay, yeah, indeed, it is the the exercise, or I guess how did they define it? Let me check it again. Yeah, they said jumping jacks. Okay, so it is actually the treatment because you are trying to say people to do this, whatever this is. So people do this, and then you are collecting data from them, right? So this should be your treatment. Okay, so let's see the next one. It says 20 coffee drinkers and 20 tea drinkers are given a concentration test. Okay, now what it should be. Does it look like an observational study or it is actually an experiment? Okay. Sophie, can you do it for me?
Yeah. I wasn't sure about this one. I think that it's, well, I don't really know what a concentration test is. I guess they're just checking how much of the drink is. I don't know. So I guess I'd say it was an observational study, but that might be wrong. Just
Oh, no,
because
it's
they're,
fine. It's fine. Even if it's wrong, we're just trying to.
yeah.
Well, this is an experiment altogether. I'm actually doing this experiment just to check um, how much you want to contribute to the lecture, nothing else. You know, whether you are actually here or you have logged in and gone somewhere else, this is just a part of the experiment, nothing else. Yeah. Okay. So Sophie said it should be it looks like an observational study. Okay. We'll check whether it is indeed. Anyone else have a different opinion? Or
I
have
was pretty stuck on this one too. I thought it could be either one, but I think it's an observation.
Okay, so let me say how can we define a concentration test? Okay, so the first thing is uh, the concentration test. Okay, I have something in the chat. Is it an experiment because the concentration tests are a variable? Okay, that's a very good point. Let's see. We'll come back to it. So a concentration test could be defined uh, in a different way, in different ways. It depends on how the people who are doing these experiments or who are doing this uh, survey, whatever it is, uh, and how do they define it. So, for example, when you go to the headquarters of Coca-Cola in Atlanta, um, you can actually taste all 101 flavors of Coca-Cola. I guess it's 101. I think it should be anyway. All the flavors it can offer. So you can go there, taste all of this. It could be a concentration test. I mean, you can write feedback on uh, their notebook after taste each of the flavors. So they can collect data from you by giving you this drinks and whatever it is. So most important thing is you probably don't need to know the definition of the test or what they're doing here. Instead, you just need to understand what's going on. That means whether they are collecting ready-made data, or first of all they are trying to implement something on people and then collect data. So that's the easiest way, I guess, to differentiate. It's not the bookish definition, though. You can say that I am trying to making things clear by making these separations, making these different ways to define these two. So you could say when you are getting ready-made data without doing anything, without implementing anything on them, then it is an observational study. And if you first implement something and then collect data, then we can say that it's an experiment, because you are getting results from that. Okay, so again, now you don't need to know what's the concentration test. You just need to see whether you are getting the ready-made data, which is already there. You just try to collect it from different people, or you are saying that, hey, please do this for me, and then collect data from them. Okay, now what do you think? What do you think? Why, or rather, what kind of study do you have? Are you getting the ready-made data, or are you doing anything before collecting the data? Again, this is not the bookish definition. You can have this at the back of your head to differentiate what's going on, right? Anyone now has an opinion, maybe? Or does it look kind of tricky to understand?
I think it's an experiment, because the concentration test results are not ready-made, like you said.
Exactly. So you will collect data after they have actually gone through this. I mean, however you define the concentration test, we are not really concerned about it, but somehow or some way you are doing this test on them, and then you are collecting data. So yeah, it should be an experiment. Yeah, and I agree, it does look a bit confusing, and definitely it's tricky, but yeah, you can clearly differentiate by the way you are collecting data from. I mean, it is already there. You are just asking them questions and collecting data from them. Then it's an observational study. Or if you say something, hey, please do it for me, do this for me, and then you collect data from them, then you can say that it's an experiment. Okay. All right. We'll come back to it again if you have any questions. Okay. Okay. Now let's go to the next example and see what can we derive from this discussion. Okay. So suppose a middle school finds that their students are not scoring well on the state's maths test. They decide to run an experiment to see if an alternate curriculum would improve scores. Okay. To run the test, they hire a math specialist to come in and teach a class using the new curriculum. To their delight, they see an improvement in the test scores. Okay, so don't look at the next pair or so, and so before going any further, we want to do something else. Okay, first of all, why do you think they have said that this is an experiment? You can already see, let me highlight it for you. That's it, that's the word experiment. They have already mentioned that it is an experiment, but why do you think it's an experiment in the first place? Don't look at the next paragraph or anything else. Try to see this paragraph only. They are already saying that it's an experiment. But why do you think it should be? It should be an experiment, or why do you think that they could say that it's an experiment? Anyone?
Because they're using a new curriculum to see if their scores improve.
So first of all, they are not collecting data from the previous students. They are not collecting data from the history of this course, right? That means how well the previous students do, how well the previous students did rather in the last 10 years or 5 years or whatever it is. Instead, they are implementing a new curriculum, right? And then they will collect data from it, or they have collected data from it. So it's not ready-made. They're saying that please do it for me. They're saying to the teachers that please use this new curriculum. They're saying to the students as well that please follow this new curriculum. And then after a while, probably after a year, they're collecting data from them. So obviously, it's an experiment, right? Before I go any further, is there anyone who is struggling to uh, understand why it's an experiment? Don't hesitate, okay? I'm more than happy to re-explain it to you. Okay, looks like it's good. All right, now, the next thing we want to know is what actually worked in favor of the improvement in the test scores. Can you see that from the story? What actually worked? Definitely, you can see, as you can see, that the test scores have improved. You know, the last line says, to their delight, they see an improvement in test scores. What do you think actually worked in favor of that? Which, obviously, we have collected data from it, no doubts on that. So that's how we can say that the scores have improved. But just by observing the story, can you see what actually did the magic of improving the math score?
The maths, teaching the new curriculum.
Okay, so you're saying that the new curriculum worked. What if I say the new math specialist actually did the trick? Because you can see, to run the test, let me highlight it for you. To run the test, they hire a math specialist. That means they have actually done two things. They have implemented a new curriculum. Also, they have hired a new math specialist. They have hired a math instructor who has a specialization on that particular curriculum or on that particular thing, whatever the test is based on. It could do the magic, right? Can you see that? So often we'll be in this sweet dilemma where we can't actually find the reason behind our success. You know, when you collect data, uh, what actually gives us the pleasure of knowing that our results are getting improved in whatever section it is, but we're not really sure which trick actually worked. You have actually tried more than one, probably two, let's say. Just for example, say I've tried two different things, and then I've got a better result, but I'm not really sure which one actually worked. It could be the mixture of both though, but can we differentiate which actually did the trick, or what portion of it did the trick? And this type of situation is said, or we define it as confounding. Okay, we'll start from it the next time we meet on Monday. So the pre-class assignment for you will be the definition of confounding and example 22, 23. Okay, you just need to go over this and try to see if you understand this or not. Okay, all right, so I'll meet you guys on Wednesday.